outside the steel walls of the all-terrain vehicle is minus 50 Celsius, just as outside of a high-flying plane. There is not a human soul within tens or possibly hundreds of kilometers. Just snow, ice, freezing wind, and mysterious images on icy cliffs. What brought me here, to these conditions so unnatural to humans? I don't know. It must have been the same inexplicable urge to go north, looking for strong emotions, acute feelings, human openness in relationships. The same reason why many people simply live here. Chukotka occupies the northeast extremity of Russian territory. The border with the U.S. passes through the Bering Strait. The distance between the eastern Russian village of Ulen and the American coast is less than 90 kilometers, while Moscow is more than 10,000 kilometers away. Chukotka has an area of 721,000 square meters, which means almost twice the area of Italy. The population is about 50,000. Average coastal region temperatures in June goes from +4 to +14 Celsius. In January, from -18 to -42 Celsius. While in the inland areas of Chukotka, it can reach -60 Celsius.
Ну вот, наконец-то приехали.
Here we are, at last. It took us 10 hours.
Oh, God.
It is an island of life in the midst of an icy desert. A Chukchi family takes care of a herd of reindeer. They got lucky with firewood this month. When a brand new power transmission line on steel towers was built, old wooden poles immediately became fuel.
Видите, оленина, видите мясо? Да. Очень хорошее мясо.
Here, this is venison. It's very good meat. Try it. Today's slaughter?
Очень свежее мясо.
Yeah, so it's fresh.
Я тоже съел.
I'll eat some too.
Самый час грудинка, я думаю, что хороший.
The best parts are the breast and the tail.
Хвост. Жир находится сзади.
All the fat is in the hind parts. No fat in the neck.
А мясо обычно отвариваете, да?
You always cook it?
Хорошо отвариваем.
Right.
Летом мы
In the winter time.
коптим и это.
In summertime, we mostly dry, smoke, or salt it. It's the same as preserves. Stays good.
Сухое мясо тоже хорошее.
Dry meat is also good. Andre, the head of a family and team leader, speaks slowly, often repeating words. The Chukchi have their own ideas of time and space. Minutes and hours don't count. Only days, months, and years have meaning. Near or far depends on how important is what, near or far. Here in Chukotka, we have lots of fish. Any fish, mama trout, loch, umber, whitefish, broadfish, any fish. We feed off the river.
Завтра думаю, что на рыбалку.
Tomorrow, too, I think I go for some fish. Mama trout. Far from here?
Наверное, 15.
No, 15 kilometers one way. Of course, 15 back together makes 30. That is, not far. Any wolverines here? Yeah, very many wolverines. Steal anything they can and try to grab even what they can't. They are big, many teeth, stronger than wolves. The neck and muscles are big like Schwarzenegger's. Can you imagine? Oh, you know about Schwarzenegger? Sure, in Russia, everybody knows Schwarzenegger. Besides Schwarzenegger, the Chukchi know modern transportation. Going fishing in a deer sledge is a bit too far. Oh, all frozen. It is so cold it froze. I caught it. Gosh, I am good. Although the locals have some benefits of civilization, such as snowmobiles and two-way radios, on the whole, they still live like they used to thousands of years ago. Marina, Andre's wife, is trying to call the village from her yuranga made of deerskins. This phone is from the time of Khrushchev, yet it still works. Marina's 3 children are students at the boarding school in the village. The Chukchi have a rule. All herdsmen school-aged children must be at school in the wintertime. The kids see their parents only in the summer or during vacations. There is another rule, too. Women give birth in village or town hospitals instead of in the tundra, like they used to in the old days. However, after giving birth, they take their newborns and go back to their yurangas right away. Babies live in yurangas with their parents and travel across the tundra, sitting in sledges where they are kept warm by deerskins. Yurangas, deer sledges, and clothes are all made by hand. The Chukchi do not trust high-tech and modern frost-resistant materials. Our shoes are called torbasa. They are made from the fur found between deer hoofs, where it's tough and resilient. They are very warm and not slippery. When hunting, they are good for stalking and very quiet.
О, совсем другой вид уже начинается, а?
Can't get used to it after my down coat. It's like a spacesuit, but it is very warm. Wearing such spacesuits, the Chukchi make very long trips in practically any weather. As to changing campsites and relocating herds, these often are daily affairs.
Эй!
Andre's reindeer herd numbers 2,000. The number doesn't depend only on the herdsman's skills. Very often, the tundra dictates conditions. Snow may be so thick that reindeer can't get to the moss that they eat. Sometimes packs of wolves or wild dogs track the herd. Finally, wild reindeer lure herd animals away to freedom. Such things force herdsmen to relocate. Andre says he knows every reindeer in his herd by its color and its horns.
Сколько они проживут? 3 года проживет она?
Эти кружки фермы.
The stove is burning out and there is no more firewood. In the tundra, wood is more precious than gold. The yaranga is getting cold fast, so it's time for the family to move inside the inner curtain, where they will keep each other warm throughout the night with the heat of their bodies. After a week in the frozen tundra, I can tell the temperature to 1 degree by how fast the tip of my nose freezes. Not far from the campsite, there is a place, the Kaikul Bluff, which is sacred to local herdsmen and hunters. On the high bank of the Pegtamil River, ancient pictures, petroglyphs, are visible on the cliffs. They are at least 1,000 years old. Hard to imagine that even then people lived here. Even in the summertime, the Chukotka Peninsula is never truly warm. Over the 2 relatively warm months, the tundra gets soft only to a depth of 30 to 50 centimeters. Below that, there is only permafrost. The Russians came to the Chukotka in the mid-17th century. The purposes of the newcomers varied widely. The Russian state wanted new lands so that the inhabitants could be taxed. There were educators, explorers, and also merchants exchanging tobacco, tea, sugar, and vodka for furs, walrus tusks, and venison. Since that time, attempts to develop the Chukotka with varying degrees of success have never stopped. Today, gold, platinum, silver, and oil are found here. 2/3 of the 50,000 Chukotka inhabitants are Russians. They live in villages and towns such as Bilibino, Pevek, Ulen, and in Anadyr, the capital of the territory situated on the shore of the Bering Sea. As recently as a decade ago, it was just a shanty town, and now it is a fast-developing seaport. Gloomy, gray, 5-story buildings have been brightly painted, which help people's moods brighten as well. Many of those who came to the Chukotka Peninsula during the 60s and 70s were not unlike the American Wild West pioneers. They lived in harsh conditions for the sake of fast and big money, and also because they were romantic. Flying out to Moscow to spend a weekend at restaurants was considered living in style. This kind of life was enticing, and one doesn't let go of it easily. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, fast and big money dried up. The now aged pioneers, although they no longer have the passion, have no strength left to return to Central or European Russia. Are you a geologist? Yes. I've been here since '77. I was sent here after graduation, and I was looking for romantic adventures. And, so far, I have not been able to leave here. In the meantime, life has gone away. There's not much left. Everyone survives the best way they can. Only the luck is gone. Victor, a geologist, has come to terms with his life. He lives in a shack owned by a team of geologists located near the outskirts of the city, earns very little, and has made friends among the Chukchi. They treat him as one of their own, just like any Russian who has settled here. The Chukotka ethnic holidays provide entertainment for all. Besides doing his principal job searching for minerals, Victor goes fishing and hunting. Red caviar, instant soup, and tea in an aluminum mug makes a normal Chukotka breakfast. At the table, Victor enthusiastically tells his guests about the miracles of the tundra. Once, I was looking at the sky, and from behind the hills a strange disk appeared. It was so brilliant, very white. Suddenly, something like lightning bolts started shooting from the edges to its center. And from there, from the disk, such a, I don't know what, started flying out and going parallel to the ground. I stayed there and looked through my binoculars. And then, all of a sudden, everything stopped. And that thing started turning around smoothly and disappeared. A rented motorboat takes us to the Mechkin Spit, protruding into the Bering Sea. It is a large sea preserve. We are asked to take 2 Moscow tourists with us. Visits to the preserve, let alone hunting, are strictly limited, even for the locals. However, these 2 have somehow managed to get licenses. The Chukchis are allowed to hunt walruses. This is what they have always done in order to stay alive. Yet the giant one we are looking at was probably not killed by a Chukchi harpoon. This is more like poachers hunting for tusks. And it looks like they were scared away. Fishing is allowed but also limited. One may only catch for food and not for sale. Here is the polar circle, 66 degrees north. It crosses right through a local highway. In the Chukotka Peninsula, traveling is a science. It is well learned by hunters, reindeer herdsmen, and truckers. Nothing but trucks can move here. Hello. Hello. As a rule, roads are laid anew early each summer. During winters, mud roads simply dissolve into the tundra. Rivers often change their beds, and a road that used to be easy to travel on is suddenly right in the middle of a dangerous stream. Local truckers say that at least 2 trucks should travel together because one may easily get stuck. The police only use all-terrain vehicles here. Ruined barracks and barbed wire remind us that not all people came here of their own free will. During the late 1930s, during Stalin's time, Gulag inmates were kept here. Uranium ore was mined and concentrated at 2 camps, the eastern and the northern. We have been told to stay away from the valley where the ore treatment factory was once located because, they say, uranium dust is still in the air. Getting closer to the village, we hear the noise of heavy machinery. For years, people have been torturing themselves and the land looking for gold. The prospectors work 12 hours a day in 2 shifts with no days off. 6 months at the gold mine and 6 months on the mainland. I hold a wash basin full of gold nuggets, thinking, Is this what people are prepared to lie, steal, and kill for? And immediately, I cannot help having another thought. Wish I could take one of these for a souvenir. What a treacherous metal. There are still places a human has never stepped foot on. Literally. It is fantastic to feel like a pioneer. Well, just a month away from home and already wearing horns. This is the Chukotka. Only the inexperienced and only at first glance might one think that the Chukotka is all flat, uniform. Actually, there are hills, mountains, deep unexplored caves, and the most intricately shaped glaciers are here. To the Chukchi, this is not just a diverse and beautiful landscape. This landscape formed the philosophy of the local people. They believe that the tundra, with its limitless space, is like life itself. Some hills lie in the shadow of others. Close by hills hide the faraway ones, just like the events of life. There are valleys enclosed on all sides between the hills. The farthest away hills dissolve as if in the air, just like long-gone events in human memory. When traveling on foot through the tundra, just like when traveling through life, one should be prepared for anything and should have 3 to 4 days' supply of food and bring winter clothing. Even in August, one may be caught in a blizzard. And the true wealth of the Chukotka is neither gold nor oil. There is another wealth. One may touch it, admire it, swim in it, but one cannot carry it away. It is the nature of the Chukotka itself. However, this wealth is guarded, and the guards are very ferocious. One should take care not to be found in their territory. They can smell a human 10 or 15 kilometers away, and if the smell of roasted fish is added on top, one may not have time to eat. One may have to run away very quickly. Better by water so as to not leave tracks.
Давайте поедем потихоньку.
We use rubber rafts to go to the Kaikul Bluff, where we see mysterious pictures on the cliffs. Depending on the season, the place can look very different. The river loops around intricately. Here, one should not rely on maps very much. From season to season, the riverbed and currents change. We use memory and intuition. It should be right here. Chukotka petroglyphs were found in the middle of the past century by a Soviet geologist. Yet, serious study of them began just a few years ago. These may be the most northernmost cliff pictures in the world. Scientists believe that ancient Chukchi, making images of people, animals, and fishes on cliffs, expressed more than just their aesthetic feelings. There is possibly much more information in them. Legends, cautions, instructions, a philosophy of its own. If we can ever understand these petroglyphs, we may also understand what made the people live here in this very beautiful but also